could be done. The way we ran this industry for the past 40-something years was so dependent on foreign inputs that we lost opportunities to grow the economy, to grow the capacity in Nigeria, to grow opportunities for Nigerians to learn, to give Nigerians jobs in the industry. That resulted in a total disintegration of even the little capacity we had in the early days. Now, that is one of the reasons that Mr. President, President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, signed that act as one of the first things he did when he became acting president. It was so important that we start a reversal of that dangerous trend. And once that was signed, the strategy for implementation was decided and designed from the beginning when the Honorable Minister identified for the board, in her capacity as the chairman of the Governing Council, targets where we have to focus on. And the targets were very clear. You have to go and work with the industry to build capacity. Make sure that we are creating jobs in the process, that we are training our Nigerians, that the assets that are working in the Nigerian oil and gas industry belong substantially to the Nigerian economy and to Nigerians. To do those kinds of things, you don't go with a cane. You go to talk. You go to reason. You go to negotiate. You sit down with people. You get stakeholders. You educate people. As you are getting discussions with the operators, you are educating the Nigerian service companies. You are taking input from Nigerian service companies, from the universities, from the research institutes. What do we know that we can do in Nigeria? What are the things we need to do to create this capacity? Those are discussions you must have. You cannot begin to deal with people just because you have power to deal with people. That is abuse of power. So we've done that for 4 years. And even in those 4 years, we had developed a cradle-to-grave approach for compliance, where before a project is started, we have agreed on what the Nigerian content commitments are based on the law. And once we've had that on a checklist, all we will do is to check at every stage that you are complying with your commitments. Where we found the operators or service providers deviating from those commitments, it only needed a short reprimand. And if you reprimand anybody you are regulating and they go back in line, why do you need to deal with them? That's the experience we have had, and it is a deliberate approach. However, you get to a point where you begin to observe that you're having some serial defaulters.
Yes.
You write letter number 1, a response comes, no, that's not what we're doing. You write letter number 2 because you have evidence, and you give a warning. If you continue in this line, the board will be left with no option than to put a stop to your activities. And then you give the last opportunity. If it happens again, you need to step in and take
And
action.
have you had such cases?
Of course, so many. And I don't want to mention names, but even in the press, a few days ago, you would see some that are really prominent. And we've stopped approving 1 or 2 major international companies.
Okay, you're saying that you're not wielding sticks. That is appreciated, but you were at the Nigerian Oil and Gas Conference, you were talking tough. So what I want to understand is, what did you mean when you said monitoring of the operations of the industry will get rougher going forward?
My teacher once told me that when you have a cane, you keep it somewhere, and when your students are troublesome, you bring it out and use it to show people that you can use that cane, but you just keep it in view so that they know that the cane is still there. This is an industry that we need everybody to work together. So you don't want to scare stakeholders, but you want to demonstrate that, one, the government is serious about implementation, two, that the government has the will to enforce it, three, that the government has enforced it and has punished people who have decided to take the government's position with levity. We've done all of that. Everybody in this industry understands that the Nigerian Content Board is a serious organization, that we mean it when we say it, and that we have the capacity to correct defaulters. And you don't always do it with a stick. That's the point I'm making. There are sometimes you do it with carrots. So companies that are performing well in terms of compliance have it very nice and rosy with the board. What we mean when we say that it's going to get rougher is that we spent 2, 3, 4 years talking, guiding, cajoling, pushing, pulling, explaining, cautioning. Now, we've come to that point in the game where if you don't do stuff, we know that it's not because you couldn't do it, but it's because you don't want to do it. Oh. Because 4 years is a long time.
All right, so we'll wrap it up on that note, and 2017 will be full of expectation. Thank you for coming on the program.
Pleasure, Melvin.
Thank you for your mails. Please do keep them coming by sending your comments and views to the address and Twitter handle on your screen. And do join us next time.